Steve Johnson, former Southwestern representative for Defenders of Wildlife, has since the 1960s advocated for protecting arid landscapes from impacts of ranching. In our 2003 interview, Johnson explained how he learned that federal grazing permits have monetary and political value beyond their potential to generate income through the production of cattle.
To reduce numbers was a primary goal of many of us in the environmental community in the 70s. But it was very difficult to do, almost impossible to do. And I realized why when I discovered permit value. It was in the late 70s, 78 I believe, I was in Texas. A banker was at this symposium that I was at talking about grazing numbers and perhaps animal damage control. I don't remember the topic, but he was talking to me privately about how many of the ranches were financed by his bank, that his bank would actually loan money to a rancher based on the numbers of cattle he had under federal permit, not on the value of the private land on which the ranch house stood, but the numbers of cattle that could be grazed on federal lands. Well, that was a whole new thing. I suddenly realized if you had a 400 cow ranch and you had a loan based on 400 cows and you were paying that loan off, then any attempt to reduce the numbers of cattle that you had would not only affect the rancher and, of course, his ability to pay back, but the bank would be affected, of course, and its loan would be at risk. And then you had a whole nother powerful element in the political system that would fight any reductions of cattle for the most fundamental of reasons. Well, that was a whole new ballgame to me. I knew that ranches were financed, but I had always thought that the main value of a ranch was in the private land, the base property. Well, I've discovered since then that base property can be nothing more than water. If you have a well that produces water, that's base property to the BLM and sometime to the Forest Service. You don't even have to own any place to put a house on. So that changed everything. Permit value changed everything, explained a lot of things I didn't understand before about the difficulty of the issue. And it gave us some new ways to work on the issue.